What is up, everybody? Welcome to a Pretty Perspective podcast.
A place where we bring light to hard shit.
Okay, cool. Episode 2, everybody.
I'm so excited.
Me too. Why don't you tell them why you're so excited?
We are going to talk a little bit about a competition that we've committed to the end of this year. So if you were on the episode 2 episodes ago on Aisha's birthday, we kind of started talking about it a little bit. So we've had a lot of excitement. I've had a lot of people asking me about it and like excited to hear about it. So we thought we would just sit down and talk HYROX. Anybody who doesn't know what a HYROX is, we wanted to give you a little rundown. A HYROX is basically an endurance race, and there's 8 stations, and in between each 8 stations you run 1 kilometer. So the 8 stations, just so you guys kind of know what type of functional movements we'll be doing. The first 4 are ski erg, sled push, sled pull, and then burpee broad jumps. So that's a burpee, and then you like jump forward as far as you can with both legs, and then you do another burpee repeat. So then the second 4.
The burpee broad jump. So think like you do a burpee and it's like a big frog jump forward for 50 meters.
Yeah, I think so. Or 80 maybe.
Yeah. Oh no, it's 80 because that sounds way worse. And then yeah, so you run in between each, and then it's a 1,000-meter row on the rower. So goal there is to stay around, like, I think it said 220 or better, like pacing or whatever for it. And then it's a 200-meter farmer carry, and then the lunges are 50 meters, but it's weighted lunges. And am I wrong?
No. So farmer's carry, and then the next movement Aisha's talking about is sandbag lunges so we have a weight on our back, and then the last one.
100 wall balls that have to clear 9 feet.
Yeah.
And you have to go all the way down.
You have to go to a box height break. You have to hit 90. That's something I'm really actually, I don't know, because I don't know if I should go all the way down or if I should stop at 90 to save energy. I'm like trying to play with it with my own body. I feel like I'll save energy going all the way down and back up, because that's also just what I'm used to. Like I do a full ass squat, so you know.
Yeah, I think because of like it's really taxing to stop at that 90 degree.
Yeah.
And also, at least for me and the technique that I work with wall balls, because if you throw it the right way, you're gonna get it every single time. You're gonna feel it. But I catch it into the squat.
Yeah.
Right?
And I throw it on the way out.
Yes.
On the
And
way up, I'm going. Oh.
yeah, and I'm using a little bit of my hips, and my heels come up just a little bit. But that helps me because I'm short, so it'll get better as time goes on, but like for right now, in order to clear, so it's pretty inefficient just because I'm getting like used to doing it. Wall balls just suck.
All I can think about, it's like when I go to the gym, I'm like, I'm training for a HYROX now, so like I have something to like actually train towards, which is super cool for me because I haven't had that before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never like competed in anything since I was like a middle schooler.
Oh my gosh, this is a big deal.
Yeah.
What are you most excited for?
I'm just excited to push myself, to be honest. Like overall, like I'm just excited to like do something that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something. Have you just done like a handful of movements for right now? Like have you done all of it?
The only ones I need to do still, because I have to go to a different gym, is for like the ski erg, and I need to come up with a way to rig up the sled pull because we don't really like have that like set up. So I just need to rig it up. Because you had to
I
do.
had to do that too. Sorry, I just remembered that I have lozenges
Oh,
that I think will help a lot.
yeah, pop one of them in.
Pop this guy in there.
How did you set up your sled?
I took the ropes that you usually do rope slams with.
Yeah.
You should have seen me. I'm like wrapping up this big rope and it's like over my shoulder. I'm walking through the gym with it onto the turf. I throw it down. I drag it out. I mean, it takes forever to set up, right?
Yeah.
So I get up to the sled and I take and tie a big knot in it, go back to the other end of the sled. And it's like this big around, right? So I'm like pulling and I'm pulling and I'm pulling. I didn't put any weight or I had the sled set up highest resistance and I threw 45 pounds on it, I think, and
Okay.
just pulled it. But I liked that it had a bigger grip because that made the pull harder, which means later the pull's going to be super easy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only that and skier. That's the only two things that I haven't had a chance to get my hands on. I'm not too worried about them because pulling movements are pretty good for me. So my like this is something we can kind of dive into. My biggest opportunity is definitely my endurance. Like being able to push through a race that long with my heart rate up. That's going to be, I mean, I think that's like generally what HYROX's biggest challenge is as a competition. But for me personally, that's not something I'm very good at. So, well, not necessarily not good at, it's just something I don't train.
Right, right. Your body's less familiar with moving like that.
Yeah. What
I
what do you think your biggest like opportunity is when it comes to this race?
don't want to be giving away my secrets. What do you mean?
You
You
see,
think I'm kidding? Um,
you have to confess.
I think I think my biggest hand in this competition is I've got a win under my belt that's not that long ago from the Spartan race. So I'm like fueled. But I mean, if you're talking more like movements,
I want to know just to be clear, I want to know like what your biggest like opportunity as in like what is your biggest challenge for in this race? Like what station, what mindset thing, what like what part of High Rocks in general is going to be the hardest for you? That's what I was
oh,
asking.
okay.
I had the other question too, but
I took opportunity positively, so that's what I'm
yeah,
like, oh, I don't know.
yeah.
Okay, that's better. That's better. No, it's worse. What do I mean? I don't want to tell everybody.
That's what you have to confess. You have to confess what you're not very good at. Yeah.
I would say my weakest, the thing I'm worried about the most is the wall balls.
Bro, yeah,
I'm
those are
5 feet tall,
yeah.
and it's the very last movement. I already hate wall balls. Mentally, they're the most difficult for me. Um, all the other movements, God, second to the wall balls, man, that skier under 5 and under 430.
Under
That's rough.
I can't I need to get on it. I'm gonna go this week for sure. Get on this gear and see what I'm at. But yeah, yeah, those two are tough for height with your height. That those are two that definitely make a big difference, I feel like.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, like what we're talking about. So I don't think everybody's used a skier before.
True.
So you step into this machine. It's tall, and there's a little platform, and you face these two arms that come across each other like this, and then there's two ropes, and you pull on it, and you pull them in such a way. It's called a ski erg. So it's almost like you're simulating how you ski, and there's a resistance on the machine, and so we have to ski or pull for 1,000 meters. And so, like a good time for doing that. Well, if we're going into it competitively, like I would assume you
Fine.
are.
Oh yeah, baby.
So if we want to be doing well and we want to like get noticed and you know have a respectable time, it's under 5, but even more so under 430. So and I was reading about the penalties and stuff. If you stop for any of the 1,000 meters, you get like a timed penalty.
So you have to pace yourself. Like you have to pace yourself. You cannot risk having to take a second. Crazy. Okay, that's really good to know.
Yep.
That's the first station too. So people come at that thing hot and heavy.
If you can like if you can recover from that and you know how to recover from that,
Yeah.
that's great. But I'm also finding out. So this morning, Russ, who that would actually be fun to have on the show too, because he's been inside the training with us. Anyway, we had a track workout this morning, just working on the pace for 1,000 meters. Um, Again, just so everybody knows, the HYROX is 8 different stations that we'll move through in between each movement. There's a 1,000 meter run, which is 2.5 laps on a track.
Is it it's a kilometer, I thought. Is that 1,000 meters? Yeah, 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 yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. No, I had to do that this morning too. Um, I'm
Brain-
like, the math is wrong. How far is that? So we were doing just some intervals on the track and a really bad, okay, here's another downfall for me, or what I'm worried about. I start out too fast in everything I do, especially on race day. And I'm like, so mentally, you think about it. We've got 8 stations, 8 runs. So this morning I was really trying to work on going slower, like as slow as I can in my first one, negative splits. And of course I went the other way and it's just pissing me off. But I think also what's coming into play here is I run, but I'm more of like a mid distance runner. Like
Same.
I'm fast when I want to be. I know how to be fast. But I'd rather run 2 miles than this. For everybody who doesn't know, 1,000 meters is 0.62 miles. So it's just over a half a mile. And that messes with my head. I hate that. So it's like a mental thing for me. So like now when I'm training, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do 3/4 of a mile every time because again, coming to race day, it's gonna be easier to get. It's gonna feel like it's going so much faster on
Yeah.
the day of than during training. So the
Yeah.
running portion in between each is has been really fun to navigate.
Yeah. I need to do a simulation too. I've been doing a lot of running to like get my aerobic capacity up, but I haven't done, and I've been trying to switch a little bit. Like, do I run before I do some strength work or do I run after to kind of play with like how I feel? So like I did on Thursday, I hit a squat workout. I did squats, I did mobility, I did squats, I did Bulgarians, I did like just some leg extensions, and then I did the 100 wall balls. And then I hopped right on the treadmill to do 2 miles. And my legs were like, bro. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, this is the feeling I need to get used to because that's going to happen 8 times during HYROX. So it was cool to like just like mentally, this is something that's really cool. I actually saw something on Instagram that relates to this. Like, it seems hard because your central nervous system has never done it. So you're not only training, like, yes, we're training our physical body to be able to do these things, but we're also training our nervous system to not freak out and be like panicked, kind of, you know? So, like, immediately when I hopped on that treadmill, I was like panicked. I was like, whoa, I shouldn't do this. And then, like, literally 2 minutes later, I felt totally fine because I was just like, no, like, you have to do this because if you can't do it right now, you obviously can't compete in this race. And so I just kept running and then everything was fine. So it's like, it's so weird how it's like mind, body, nervous system. We're training like everything. And so it's really fun, like right now, to just kind of be playing around with stuff and just finding these like new spaces that I'm gonna have to like get into, you know?
I noticed that too. In fact, this morning I commented on it because we had a really heavy lift yesterday and then we had the run today. So it wasn't like sore. I wasn't even sore from doing the full simulation, and that shit took me like 2 hours. I
Holy
was
shit.
like, I wanted to kill myself. Um,
Great.
yeah, it's awesome. So this morning I was telling Russ, I go, hey, I think this is going to be more of a central nervous system thing than it is anything else because my like, like anybody who's listening, you guys go figure out what HYROX is, look up the movements, and pick four of them, and just do three of them. I don't care, but just go through the movements and see what we're talking about because the transition between a run, the transition between something cardiovascular into something weight like distributed is yeah, your body it's like, whoa, what the hell is going on here?
Whiplash.
And
It's,
I think that's a really cool thing because I love that you brought it up like that and like the mindset of it. I've had a few clients where we will be touching the nervous system a little bit, or their heart rate will be up at a certain range that they've never been at. And I will see like this actual flash of fear in their eyes. And I'll then stop the workout and I'll look at them and I'll say, hey, are you okay? And I go, are you scared right now? I don't mean in like a something scary is happening. I go, but it's alarming to feel that way a little bit, right? And they're
yeah.
like, yeah, what is that? And I go, okay, it's important for us to spend time in that space once in a while because that's a threshold that your body is at. So right now we're just teaching your body something different. It's gonna get easier. I wouldn't say it's gonna get easier. It's just gonna that threshold's gonna be more tolerable, and then you're gonna know that you can push it more. And so this race is so cool because it's got so many different components to it, and it's got so many different opportunities for people's weaknesses to show,
Yeah.
and for the other people to take advantage of what those weaknesses are. So that's why earlier when Lindsay's like, "What do you see an opportunity for?" Like, just like what I didn't want to share. It's like, bet I don't want to be telling people what I'm doing or how I'm doing it or anything like that because I'm in it so deep now that the training is like, oh, I'm starting to like put some things together and it's just going to be really really neat to see how it plays out and um simply said, I'm excited to learn about myself and
Yes.
what my challenges are going to be through this next 6 months because we start actual training, June 1st. And yeah, it's, you guys should really check it out and watch some videos and you'll see from us what we're doing too. But
Yeah. And if you guys want to, if you want to train with us, let us know. Hit us up on Instagram.
do it.
Pretty,
Yes.
pretty, pers pretty perspective underscore podcast. Hit us up and we can potentially help you with training if you want to join us in this. Even if you don't want to compete, the training will be so fun, I think.
Absolutely.
Like,
It's functional fitness. Everybody should participate in some kind of functional fitness, anyways, because that's what we do all day long. We don't sit in our house and do anything like this or like this. Well, maybe like that. I don't know. But you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
We need a little of everything. I want to kind of go to that point where you were talking about that new threshold. When we experience a new threshold, a new space in our with our nervous system and whatever. Okay, so back to that point. I was on a 6 mile run last night, and this is maybe the fourth time I've ever ran that far. Um,
Wow.
yeah,
Congratulations.
I used to run like 6 miles a week. I would do a 2 mile and a 4 mile, and I did that for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. And I probably would go up to like 8 mile weeks occasionally too, but never all at once. And so, anyways, I was on that run and I've been running more too. So anyways, okay. I'm on this run and I just realized I'm like, okay, this is like actually comfortable. I'm like, okay, I feel comfortable doing this now. And in the past I'm like panicking. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna run 3 miles out. I'm gonna be a whole 3 miles. That means I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of scary. It's like I've never done this before. And I was just thinking while I was having that realization that I think it gets confused when you're exercising or you're building a business or you're, doing anything difficult that you're trying to achieve comfort. And in a way, like we kind of are, we want to be comfortable doing this race, right? But what we're actually doing is pushing ourselves to new levels of discomfort. Like you should never
Right.
settle, right? Like in fitness, you can't achieve the body you want and then just like settle, right? Like it doesn't really work that way. You have to continue pushing your body to even maintain what you have. So I just thought that was like a really interesting thing because I'm like, oh, great, 6 miles is good. Like the HYROX is, it's only 8 kilometers. That's not even 6 miles. Like I should be good here. And I'm like, no, Lindsay, no, 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 no. You're gonna start running 8 miles and then you're gonna go 10 miles and then you're gonna go further than that. And someday you're gonna run a marathon because like you're not going to just stop at 6 now because it's comfortable, right? Like, and I think people get that in their heads, like weightlifting. They're like, okay, now I can finally curl these 20-pound bicep curls. And then they curl 20-pound bicep curls for like the rest of their life. And I'm like, you're not going to keep growing or becoming better if you just get comfortable. And I think that plays into life as well. But that's just, we always talk about how fitness is like a catalyst for pattern recognition and all these things. And so those are just examples in fitness that I've like noticed.
Yeah, and it's people don't want to push themselves. It just in a generalized
Mm,
thought, right? Like it's just who I mean, who really gets up and is like, I'm gonna set maybe me or you, but like wakes up and is like, I'm really gonna intentionally figure out how to accomplish this and and go through that suffering. But the only way to get better is to sit with that threshold, know what it is. Every single one of us knows that we have something, especially if you're in the gym, that we could, I've got a laundry list of things that I need to get better at in the gym. And so, like, eventually, when you get into the gym for so long, and people who are here will know what I'm talking about. One day, you start going to the gym, and it's what you've been doing, and you're getting really good at everything it is that you're doing. And then all of a sudden, you're bored
yeah.
at the gym. One day, you're like, but I already do this at this. I already do this with this. And then that I think that that space that you're talking about, that's where people get stuck. That's why they do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Now the issue with that is the brain doesn't like to learn anything new, right? So you got to really take it upon yourself or get a trainer and learn like what you need to do different. Plateauing happens because your body wants something different.
Hmm.
And so when you just get so used to that thing over and over and over again, you have to touch that threshold or you'll never surpass it. So, I mean, are you, because you were doing it with Drew, you guys are just training yourselves, right?
Well, I wanted your help.
Okay, well, yes, I'm gonna like,
What do
so
you
where I'm going with that is, is that like the little, like the dynamic of how we're training too. Me, you, and Drew, we like, I have to figure out, like, I have to be at a threshold in order to explain it to you. So
Yeah.
where I'm going with this is that I don't have anybody coaching me. So I was out on the track this morning and I'm like, you can go faster. You're
Yeah.
not tired. You you're not tired,
Yeah.
And so it's like how do we get to the point where we start pushing ourselves that way by ourselves?
No, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, like
Yeah.
me and Drew are both showing up to this shit like
Yes.
ready to die, like basically.
Yes.
Like I'm like on the treadmill, like I could die. I could fall off this thing any second now. Low key though, like yeah, running scares me. It's so funny because running scares me because I grew up swimming. And so
Okay.
I can swim and I don't get panicked. It's funny because I don't even know if my boyfriend will listen to this, but he's a runner and he didn't grow up swimming at all. So now when he gets in a pool, his cardio sucks because it's all mental because he's scared. Not like scared like "Bleh," but it's just his body doesn't know. Like his body's just
Swimming is disorienting.
yeah, but that's how I feel running, especially when I'm like I said, 3 miles away from my car. Like I know I have a phone, whatever, but I'm like, there was a train going by me, and I'm like, somebody could hop off that train. Like my mind gets to me so bad. I'm like, I don't know, I just freak myself out.
So I actually will use that while I'm running. For a long time, it was my favorite thing to go for a night run. And I would like freak myself out by telling myself that I had a bunch of zombies behind me. And I'm like, all right, you got to go faster if you don't want to die.
I literally was thinking to myself, zombies were gonna come off that train. And then I was like, okay, well, do I run to the town so I get to people quicker, or is everyone gonna be pissed off that I brought zombies to town? So I don't know what to do.
Now it's even worse. Now you're like,
Yeah, I'm going crazy on this. My
oh
brain
my
just,
gosh.
just does that kind of thing to me, but
So, so what do you, because I mean, I've got, look at this. Look at how cute this is. It's got
what?
little mushrooms. Oh, you saw, yeah. So this is going to be the playbook.
Should I
Is
get a
there anything, is there anything like that you want to see in the training? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so this is kind of the vision I have for training. From what I've studied, this is kind of what I like, this is what I see happening. Potentially 2 workouts a day, potentially a long like runs, like long or like I would love to do some swims because I love swimming or biking, like just long aerobic capacity workouts and then strength and then like HYROX type workouts. And so I see, like an upper body, lower body, like heavy day. And then I see strength training, like maybe a full body strength training day. And then a couple of times having like HYROX type workouts, like not the whole damn thing, but like threshold sessions where I'm like pushing my heart rate to a fucking like pop. And then obviously maybe some like sprints or like interval runs, stuff like that. But I that's kind of what my brain sees for everything that we need.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I I was just wondering, yeah, I mean you answered it great because it's pretty much how it is, but there's gonna be like, in the beginning you gotta build like a base of everything and then it transitions because actually the simulations don't happen until like month maybe 4 5.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's like it's excuse me. I think it's got a really good balance of like everything you just said. I'm trying to pick out something from what you just said, but yeah, that'll be pretty much how it goes. And once I go through it and I see it too, like for me while I'm here on like a personal level, sometimes I don't know, like do you ever get through a program and you're like modifying it as you go and like seeing what works and what doesn't? And
Yeah. Yeah.
so I think there would be a lot of that too. And sometimes I have to modify the entire workout because stuff's not available. There's not enough room. I can't train in the space that I wanted to train in. So it's like, okay, now, um, and you say, um, haven't competed anything since like middle school, but have you trained for something for this amount of time?
Yeah. Well, like if you consider like okay, well, I guess I don't know if this is a yes to your question or not, but like I train for specific things. So like I trained like a bodybuilder for 18 months,
Okay.
pretending like that was like I was lifting weights to get the maximum output, right? Like so I haven't competed with that training, but like I trained to compete basically. I had it in the back of my mind. And then like I've trained skills for months on end, like mobility skills, but I've never trained anything endurance. Um, or yeah, like I've never done cross like yeah, that's I guess that's all I've done. So I know I can be committed. I just it's gonna be a new level to push my body, but it's gonna be so fucking cool.
Yeah, I was curious about how you felt about being dedicated to something like this for a long time, because for those of us who have, we under we understand that like there's a lot of sacrifice that's going to go into this,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that's a good point to touch on because people don't understand that part of it. And with my experience with the Spartan race, the amount of times I had to say no, because we start training at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? So I'm not doing much after 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And once I got through the 6 months of training and the race was all done, there's like this, we talk about plant medicine a lot, there being an afterglow effect, right? So like after the race, you train for like 6 months for something, and it's like being on your last day of senior year all over again, where you're like, I don't give a shit about anything. You're just eating everything.
Yeah.
It's actually really fun. And then for like a couple of weeks, you don't really get too serious about anything because you've just been in it for so long. But once I got done and like through it, there's not that like I read something the other day that said there's no drug like finishing a workout you didn't want to finish,
Hmm.
right? Or finishing a workout you didn't want to do or whatever. And so this is similar to that because I just got to look at all this time that had gone by and all this really hard work that was put in. And it was just like, yeah, I did that. Like, you can't buy that.
Oh no. Oh
And
no.
I'm so interested in things you cannot buy these days, like, well, what is that saying? Like, all the best things are free.
That's what I was thinking when we walked down into that canyon. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
the best things are free. And showing yourself, like, what you can do when you don't want to do it when you show up. I mean, there were handfuls. There's gonna be handfuls. I'm so excited for this thread that we have with Drew going because I'm like, because we're gonna get into this, and I'm gonna one day just show up and I throw tantrums once in a while. I'm like, I don't, you know, and it really is a good way to just like push yourself. And I hope as people listen to us and as we progress, that it will encourage them to like, I'm gonna reference David Goggins here, but like do some hard shit. Go do something hard. Is that him? I think he says that.
Don't know. I don't know.
But and if you can participate in hard stuff with other people, it makes you work a lot harder. It makes you take that one extra step further because somebody else is right next to you and they gotta do the same thing. They gotta get the same workout done. The day that we worked out together, you're a good partner to have, I'll tell you that. Like I had a really good time working out with you, but we got grit, and so it's a treat for people like us to work out together because we're on that same level with each other versus, not that there's anything wrong with it, but when you don't have to wait for somebody or somebody's not way ahead of you and you're just kind of like right there with the person, there's nothing like it.
Yeah. No, it's so fun. I was I think one of the biggest things for my fitness journey and like my health and just my self-development journey was like accepting needing community and needing people to make me
Yeah.
better. And it's not that they make you better, but it's because you're around them, you become better, right? Like we're always they're a mirror to you, like they can do it, I can do it, kind of thing. So I think it's so, so, so important to have a community behind you that works on being better, you know?
Yeah. And I think it's cool to join events like this too, because then you meet other like-minded people. Like I am so excited for the people that we're gonna meet probably before that, because we're gonna be talking about it now. But also just in the event itself and like talking with other people that were in it, what their experience was with it and how, I don't know. I think it's gonna be really cool. Like I'm not even I'm usually I get nervous about committing to stuff like this, but I'm not nervous like at all. I'm just it's almost like I want June 1st to get here because I want to start the training because then I the switch goes on for me and I'm like, all right, we're in it. Time to go, time to do the thing.
It's so funny like how committed we already are to it, but we're like not even training yet. Like we are, but we aren't.
We're just like dipping our toe in the water right
Yeah.
now and it's I mean, I've already pretty much just started conditioning it. Um, but also to it's been really fun taking like current stats and throwing them into ChatGPT and comparing them to like what the numbers need to be in order to like place. So it kind of just gives you like a reference point of like where you're starting at,
What does
which
Oh, sorry. So sorry, go ahead.
no, you're fine.
I was
What were
just
you gonna say?
What does chat say? I'm gonna ask chat about the kilometer runs. Do you know off the top of your head what like the top people's times are? Because that I'm scared.
Yeah. It's 4:30 or better.
Okay, I feel like that's doable though.
You're that fast.
Top 10. Yeah, I think going back to like that like discipline to like train through something, like the sacrifice that we might sacrifices will have to be made. Um, that's why I want to compete in something because I already do that. And there's obviously reward because I'm becoming better and it plays into so many different areas of my life because I show up to the gym no matter what and I eat good food no matter what. Like obviously that has its benefits, right? But I'm like I want to compete with this, you know? Like I want to like I've before I used to be scared to compete because I didn't think I was ready, right? Because I wasn't this person.
Right.
And now that I'm this person, I'm like, oh my God, like I could do some really cool shit. Like, let's try it. And I know me and you have talked about it, and I'm like, God, like I really wish younger Lindsay had been like this because like I want to get paid to do this shit. Like I want to
Yes.
get paid to push my body and perform in incredible ways. Like how cool would that be? Because I just love doing that. I'm already gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for free. So it's like it'd be so cool to get paid for that. And I'm like, damn, like I really wish I had gotten into it sooner, but no regrets.
I resonate with that wholeheartedly. I mean, I'm 34 years old and I'm just stepping into this. And I feel like, yeah, had I taken it more seriously or sustained the seriousness, um, yeah, I would probably be some kind of athlete that gets paid. And, it's actually not too late,
No, I don't think so either.
you know, to like be sponsored and whatever. Like, I'm not, people barely know what HYROX is, but I would also rather be like known in the HYROX world than be known in like, I don't know, the football world or who cares,
That's what I think's so cool about HYROX. So I watched an interview of one of the founders of HYROX being interviewed about like why he started it.
hmm
And first thing I wanted to say is he said next 10 years he's betting HYROX is an Olympic sport.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And I was like,
Uh,
okay, okay. I've always wanted to go to the Olympics, so
you got my attention.
and then what was the other thing? I was watching a bunch of videos and they have what's called the Elite 15 in HYROX. I don't know if you've looked into that at all, but a lot of them are like 35. And so I'm like, okay, like this is cool. Like you can get into this sport a little bit like later than other sports, right? Like a lot of other sports people retire at that age, not being the top of the top. So that's really cool to me. Like that's so cool.
That is super, super cool. But why it's super cool though, oh, like, shed some light on, because I was thinking about this the other day. Okay, so sports and like athletic movement is so fascinating to me because while you're born and then you have like this body when you're, let's say 15 to 30, right? You get 15 years with this body that you barely know how to use. You get to 30 and you get into your mid 30s. And if you've really been at it, you've got this like experience with how to move your body. You've got this wisdom about how to move your body, right? So it's almost like to be gifted at a young age athletically,
Mm.
I think is not as common as people think it is because it, athleticism almost demands that time of experience with it. So once you're in your 30s and you're just ahead of the game right now, right? You're mid
Uh,
20s, so you've got so you've got 10 years on somebody like me who's just started really taking it seriously within the last like 5 years being 34, right? So at the end of my 20s I started taking it seriously again. So it's almost like this special space in your 30s where you're still young enough to like kick it into gear and if you've been doing it for a while, but also be able to get back to that drive and that fire within you because I think a lot of people start to lose that too in their 30s depending on where they go where they used to be able to do something in high school and now they can't and that's disappointing when you step into. I remember the first time I went for a run after I hadn't run in like 3 years outside of high school and I think it was like 3 miles or something like that and it was so slow and it was so heavy and it was so miserable.
yeah,
And I was like, oh man, because I know what I'm capable of. So it's very defeating
yeah, yeah,
to step back into that place and not perform the way that I was used to performing. And so you have to like you got to work through that. And now there's this other layer of stuff. I guess just to tie back into the mentality of what you're talking about and like what the mental focus is going to be in this race. And I think anything you enter that you're going to dedicate time to outside of your job, outside of your hobbies, outside of anything else, it's going to shed a lot of light on a lot of other stuff in your life because I don't know, there's just a lot of moments where you decide what's important and what's not based on the goal that you have in front of you. And so when you have one singular goal in front of you, a lot of that's the reason why the answer is no a lot of the times. Because no, not because I don't like you, not because I don't want to do this, but because I'm choosing me through this event and through these workouts and through showing up and be by being dedicated and navigating friendships, navigating maybe losing friendships because of it because some people just can't handle that other people have dedication and they don't, right? Like that's nobody's fault, but I make it very apparent to everybody like no, I have training in the morning. And if you want to spend time with me, not for nothing, but you know where I'm going to be at, and you're more than welcome to join anytime you want,
yeah.
you know?
People, I feel like the people who get it, get it. The people who don't get it might see it as restrictive, right? They think it's like a net negative to our life or something, but like it's this is a net positive. Like all of these things we're saying no to are actually building something else. Like it's not us restricting things or saying no to going out because we hate ourselves. It's quite opposite, actually. And I think
Right.
people don't understand that because they find, like, yeah, you can find so much joy in going out and drinking with your friends. Absolutely. But it's okay to choose joy another way by not doing that because you want to have the joy at the end of this race where you know you did everything you possibly could to perform your best. And you can just look at it two different ways, right? And I'm not saying that, you can never go out drinking with your friends. Like do what you want, but people just don't. I think some people see it as restrictive when you're in it, you don't necessarily see it that way. You see it as like abundant, like I'm honoring my body, I'm honoring what I need to do. Like this is bringing abundance into my life, not restriction.
Yeah. I like that you use that word because I think you're right. I think people see it as a negative and consider it restrictive. I think of it as a really clean recalibration.
Hmm.
And that doesn't mean like forever, but on the other side of this, when we get when we get into December, I'm gonna be a different person because of this. And I'm gonna be a different person because of this, because I said no. So the the no's aren't restrictions for me. The no is actually a doorway to the person I am supposed to be, because I'm choosing and making decisions through my highest self. And if and I've experienced this, right? Like I was a bartender for 10 years. I stopped bartending, I stopped drinking with everybody, and I started going to the gym. And a couple of times people were like, "Are you sure this is healthy? Are you sure this? Are you sure that?" And I'm like, "So where were you when I was drinking heavily?" And I've said this before on this show, like, where were all these people when I was drinking to the point of not even being able to talk? You know what I mean? And now I'm doing something better for myself. And the no isn't a door being closed for me. It's actually a door being opened.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope everybody can find that, you know? I feel like it can be hard to know like what you want and like why saying no is okay. You know, some people don't know how to say no because they don't have the other thing, I think is sometimes the case.
I think you're right, but I also think that we don't give ourselves enough chances to dive into something that makes us uncomfortable for fear of whatever the case may be, for fear of failure, for fear of being judged, for fear of any of that. And
Yeah.
I think really what it takes is it's just practicing those little no's, or like an example I'll give, which is kind of the opposite. Well, you were just here, or was I out with somebody else? Anyway, I went out to eat with somebody and I just ordered something the way I was going to order it. Yeah, it was with you. I think at Chelsea's Kitchen. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah. So I started doing small things like that. Like, it's hard for me to ask for what it is I really want, obviously, because it is 2 miles long. But, but I started just with that. Like, I
Yeah.
go to a restaurant, a server is there to get me what it is that I'm asking for. I'm allowed to do that. So I started to do just like micro little, when he says, "Is this okay?" Normally I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, that's not what I wanted, but I'm just gonna let it go because I don't want to be annoying." Right? So I started to be like, "Yes, may I please have this instead of that?" Or I would order like more than one sauce or whatever. And then eventually I just broke through it and I'm like, "Listen up. This is gonna be a second. I am so sorry." But I know what I like.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is that if you can like with anything in life, take it in micro little bites, teeny tiny little teeny bites. You know, there's an event that you get invited to, say no, and then go do something else that benefits you instead. Or, you know, when someone asks you to do something, pause for just a moment and say, "Does this align with the current set of goals I have in front of me?" And if you don't have any goals in front of you, well, that's a really good place to start.
Yeah.
No, because I need to get my list of goals going before I can figure out if I want to do this or not. Because time is only real currency, okay? And it's really expensive to be wasting that shit. So align yourself with something, not because somebody else is doing it, but because it brings you joy. Because, Lindsay and I can't speak for you, Lindsay, but it almost feels like I can because I was around you and I'm like, it's just so cool. But it's, if you're participating in something that your heart wants, it's more likely you're going to show up for it.
Mm. Yeah.
And so if you can find something that you're going to work really hard towards or get yourself involved in, and you listen to your heart about it. What do I mean by that? When I was still bartending and I was part-time training people, people would ask me how work is going, and then they found out that I got a training job, and they're like, "Oh, how's training going?" And they would see me talk about each almost right next to each other because I was doing both at the same time. And I had several people respond to me and say, you know, you really, really light up when you talk about training people. And when you're talking about bartending, you don't. And so it was probably the third time I had heard that where it actually stopped me. I was like, oh, okay, I need to pay attention to that. I don't, I don't know why yet, but I need to pay attention to that. And so then that's what kind of like led me into quitting my job at the Four Seasons, diving into the gym all the way, and then getting into the shadow work. My favorite question when I meet somebody new isn't where are you from? What do you do? It's it's if money didn't matter, what would you do? And most people say, I don't know. Cause just thinking about not money not being involved, like they just can't even wrap their heads around that, right? But a lot of times people will suggest and say just activities that bring them joy. Like I have a client, she's very I'm gonna call her a hobby lobbyist, right? She's got like all these like little projects and she's very, very talented. Like should just quit her day job and do that thing and decorate for people and do parties and whatever. Like she loves it. She thrives in it. She loses sleep over it, okay? That's what I mean. Like, find something in your life that you're willing to lose sleep over.
Yeah.
That's the thing you should be doing. Whatever that thing is, figure out how to get paid for it because you're going to show up for it. And then it's not a job. Then you get that's what people mean when they say, get paid to do what you love.
Mhm.
That's not wait until you retire. That's you're a human being with intrinsic value that has its own actual real gifts. And if you can tap into and lean into those gifts, that is going to be your livelihood. And it's going to give you vitality because if you're doing something you love, you're not draining the life source out of you,
For real. And
you know?
I
But
truly,
we're so scared.
I know. And it stinks because like the system has made it scary.
Yeah.
Like it's okay like that you feel scared. Not everyone's going to, I mean, I hope
Well, the
every
people we look up to started scared.
right. And the best thing ever, I loved when these started going around, but it was like putting ages on when all these super famous people actually like got their first their
Yes.
first break. And they're like, you know, obviously all the ones that were in this post were like over 30. And it's like cool. Like it's never too late. And that's I hope somebody listening to this someday is like, okay, shit. It literally is never too late. I can still do it. Anyone can do it. My boyfriend met a really awesome guy named Steve at his gym, and Steve is 60 something years old, lost like a ton of weight, and started all his sons wrestled in their grade school years. He has like 4 or 5 sons. They all wrestled. Their grandkids wrestle. He started wrestling at like 60 years old. And now he goes and competes places and he's jacked. Like
Go.
it's never too late. Like meeting Steve is such a treat because it's like, wow, like genuinely go be an athlete at fucking 60. Do it.
Yeah. It's amazing what the body can do. But not only that, it's amazing what you learn about your own body because everybody's got different stuff and um there's different capabilities and I hope everybody who's listening can get excited and exercise doesn't have to be your thing, right? Like but yeah, I want to circle back around to that because it's okay to want to get paid for something that's fun and you're good at it.
Yeah.
You don't have to suffer, but you can. I think there's a different. I think there's a safe suffering, and that'll bring me back to the point of like, do something that you want to lose sleep over. That's suffering. When I was sitting and building my own AI at home, I had a pretty good sleep schedule, but when I started doing it, I was like up until like 11, blah blah blah, and I'm sitting in my room and I'm thinking, one day somebody's gonna interview me about this. this is going to come up and somebody's going to be listening to me about this. And I'm going to say, you know what? There was a moment in time where, like, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I realized that I was so happy that I was up losing sleep over something like this versus losing sleep and drinking all night.
Yeah.
Because this is the stuff we should be doing. I wanted to be up. I had so much fire in me to like get it done and understand it that I chose to stay up. I chose to keep chiseling away and doing it. And now I know how to code. You know, it, you, you can do whatever you want, but you also, and we keep coming back to this reoccurring theme, I think, on this podcast where we're stuck in loops, we're stuck in scripts that we don't even know we're talking, we're stuck in patterns that we either, it's very possible that we choose to not look at them or we're completely unaware of the fact that they're happening, you know, and try and step outside of some of that stuff because this is just a reminder that you don't have to suffer through life. You don't even have to suffer through part of your day. But if you're going to, make sure that you're choosing to do it for a reason that serves you. Like, choose your heart, a really simple example. It's hard to be fat and it's hard to be in shape. Choose your heart.
Yeah. And it's hard to be broke working a job you hate, and it's hard to, maybe go a few $1,000s in debt to start a business. Like whatever or to travel or like literally whatever, like you choose your heart. And I actually posted on Instagram the other day too. I feel like it kind of plays into the way you speak to yourself also. So like you can choose to know what's wrong and to continue to dwell in it. That's hard.
Oh,
Or you can continue to choose to change your fucking mind about it. That's also hard. Both of those things are going to suck. Like rewiring the pattern, like you're saying, rewiring the way you're talking about something or dwelling on it, how bad your job sucks, how bad your health is, how shitty your relationship is. You could sit in there and you could just continuously think about that and how hard it is, or you could go actually do something hard to fucking change it. So I think that's just like a big, I don't know. It's just a pattern I see in day-to-day life. And I mean, we're all guilty of it in certain parts of our life, but that was one of the biggest changes I could have ever made in my life is to be like, all right, you've spent a lot of time thinking about how shitty this is. Like it's time to go do something about it.
well, and for people who don't know this, action distinguishes anxiety,
Mm,
right? So you apply action to something that maybe you have anxiety about or you don't want to do. Or like Lindsay said, you can just dwell in the shitty situation. It's like, I'm experiencing a lot of, and I think this might be an age thing too, because, you know, you get into your 30s and most of the time you've been on your own for a little bit now and you're figuring some shit out and some stuff's worked out really well, some stuff is not. And um shoot, I forgot where I was going with that. What was I saying?
I'm not 100% sure. I know where my brain's
Damn it.
going, but I don't know.
Um Man, I was gonna tie back into the other episode too. I don't remember. Sorry.
Okay. Maybe it was taken for a reason.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
God bless it. Oh. I was talking about action, distinguishing anxiety, and then otherwise. Oh, so what I'm finding is, yay, me, I found it.
Woo!
Is that a lot of people, like, I would say more my age, because in 40s and 50s is different. But there's just a lot of people around me, or maybe it's just the people around me and I'm outgrowing it. But I'm done sitting at a table where people do is like serve the problem.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I don't I want to sit at a table that likes to eat solutions and digest them and talk about them and be open about them and not judgmental about it, right? And I think we've kind of created this little barrier around each other where we're kind of afraid to do that anymore. And I love that we renamed our podcast, but we renamed it because that's exactly what we're talking about right now. Like, you can either have an ugly perspective of something or you can have a pretty perspective of something. And you know, I want to live in a world where we welcome ugly perspectives to step into a pretty one because both can be true at the same time and they're both valid and it's a place where people exist at the same time. But like let's be a bridge for each other so it's easier to get to one side so we don't have to feel like we're doing it alone,
Yeah.
feel like we're doing it, because somebody else says we have to, but just because we're staying curious about stuff and we just have questions and we get on here and talk about it. I love the direction that all of our conversations go because we start with one thing and then we kind of just blossom into like another one and then we make it back to it. Like, look at how close we've already gotten. And like, I already feel like Drew, I've known forever. And she doesn't even say nothing in the text messages for goodness sakes. But,
So is that
I see her on Instagram, but it's already brought us together. It's already started this little fire with a community that we're about to meet
mm.
that we've never been a part of before that I think also is a really modern, like what we're doing is all like I feel like what tribes do where it's like we're training for this thing. It's like an initiation, right?
Yeah.
We're showing up, we're like doing this thing and I don't know, maybe I'm just geeking out and I take it way seriously
Oh, I
than like
totally
most other people, but it just feels very tribal. It feels very primal, very ritualistic and like let's fucking go, like and it's even more exciting because I'm training with somebody else who's gonna do it. Training with you guys, and you live in Nebraska. We're in Arizona. Like, it's just so cool.
I know, I know, I know. I'm so excited. Yeah, it is. It is that like tribal primal comment is very interesting. I never really thought of that way, but it really is like if you think about just I think this is what's really cool about HYROX, I guess, is people gathering to watch sport is one thing. People gather to watch sport. Like,
Like a gladiator, only we're not cutting each other's heads off.
yeah, but this is so cool because this is a competition that like anybody can do.
Yep.
But there is elite level athletes doing this, but you can also not train and show up and do it. People do that, and I think that's so cool because movement is also a reason to get people together. And I think that's one thing our society's missing a lot of. And I'm so glad for sports like HYROX and even CrossFit or organized runs are really awesome. Anyone can do that. Like you should be getting together with your people and moving your body and playing sports and trying new things. Like you don't just have to gather to like party, you know what I mean? I feel like we just and again, it could be the people that I've been around or I know there's communities out there, but going back to like the community thing tied in with HYROX, I think it's just like really important. But I had one question to ask you in regards to the community of HYROX. Is there any particular athletes that you hope we run into while we're there?
I, you know, I live in such a bubble of my own that I haven't even looked into who's doing what.
Oh yeah, I don't know who's actually gonna go. I have no idea.
Oh,
But
oh, oh,
if
okay.
if there was an athlete that would be at HYROX potentially, like, do you think there is like an ath like, do you understand?
I do. Like somebody I can just think of at all.
Yeah, yeah,
That
that like reasonably would be there, you know what I mean? But
man, before getting into high rocks, I was so into like CrossFit. I mean, I guess I could see CrossFit people doing it for fun
yeah,
or something.
yeah, they
Okay,
do.
so if that were like a thing, oh my God, if anybody could be there, it would be really cool to meet like Laura Horvath. She took Fittest Woman on Earth right after Tia Toomey had her baby.
Mm.
It'd be it'd be cool to meet Tia too, but like why would she be there?
They do
Um
they do those races. Like I've watched them on YouTube. I don't know about the first girl you said, but I'm pretty sure Tia Toomey's done a high
a
rock.
high rocks?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so sick. Obviously, like it would be absolutely dope to see Matt Fraser.
He's done one
Shut
too.
up. No!
They could
Ah!
literally be there, dude. They could literally be there.
Did you do that on purpose? Because
Yes.
all my workouts now, I'm like, okay. Um, like, okay, here's another fun question. Like, how cool would it be? Because you and I talked about this a little bit, but we hammer this 6 months out, which we're gonna.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Um, and to like do this and actually get noticed for it.
That's my only goal at this point. Like, yeah, I'm going in to try to win, but I'm gonna do the best I can in hopes that like we show up the best we can to get noticed, right? Like people will notice just that fact alone. Like, damn, those girls are fucking crushing it. Even if we don't place, you know?
And I can't wait for it to be through like the actual movements because I was watching some of the sled pushes, but for the guys, and I'm thinking this is why people. I almost feel like I get gawked at once in a while because I'm so small doing the things it is that I'm doing, and I'm like, I cannot wait to fucking crush that lunge walk because I'm working with 50 pounds right now, and I'm not about to start working with any lighter weight.
Yeah.
Like I cannot wait to be just I can feel it in my heart where I'm like, I've even been practicing like feeling when my face is in distress. And I'm like, nah, bitch, don't let anybody know where you're at other than fine.
Smile through the pain, baby.
You got it. You got it. When we inside, I'm just like, when when I did the full sim the other day, because I was running the 3/4 mile instead of the 0.62, even in the notes that I was like putting in a chat GPT and everything, I go, listen, because I think I got to like number 6 or something, and I cut it back to the 0.62 instead of the 0.75. And even in my notes, I'm like, if I would have ran the 0.75 at this point, I was gonna kill myself. So and then I put like ha 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 ha, help me, ha ha ha. Ha.
Oh my God.
And I love our thread right now because like we've all just been popping stuff in there as we're like working out. It's
Yeah.
just like I love getting texts in the middle of like training people or when I'm at the gym. And like Lindsay's like, okay, pray for me. I'm like walking into this, or like I'm like, oh, I gotta finish this later.
Yeah.
It's already been just a blast.
I know it's so fun. It's so fun. I'm so excited. Let me look at some of the other questions I wrote.
You had some other questions. You were going through your questions to see if there
Yes.
were any.
Other questions. Let's look. Let's look. I think we've touched on this a little bit, but I thought we could talk about some non-exercise things that will be changing in our prep to the race. Um, so to start us off, a couple I've thought about that we've kind of already touched on is the mental aspect of things. Um, and then there's the nutrition aspect of things that definitely will change for me. And I've seen my nutrition having to change already. Like I started getting a little bit of breakout on my chin already just from increasing my running and not eating enough food because I was trying to get like I wasn't trying to like gain much or anything. I was in a very like maintenancey phase and then I cranked up running and I honestly don't feel as hungry when I'm running. I don't, my appetite's just not as high as when I'm not running, which is weird, but I know that happens to people. So I probably wasn't even eating as much. And so, anyways, last night after my 6 mile run, I ate a steak with cheese and spinach cooked in butter. And then immediately after, I had 2 packets of oatmeal with a big slab of peanut butter, banana, honey, cinnamon. And I like
Hell yeah.
pounded it, and then I slept so good and woke up feeling basically 100% recovered. Like my like ankles and calves are a little tender, but not bad at all. And I'm like, okay, queen, this is why you need to eat your food. Damn it. Eat the fucking oatmeal.
Uh, yeah, yesterday I was training with somebody who was like a professional bodybuilder for a little bit, and I was talking to her because so yesterday I had like 3 workouts or whatever. Somebody asked me also yesterday, pin what I was just talking about for a second. Okay, here's a fun question, and you can answer this too. Somebody asked me yesterday. How many hours a week do you think you work out?
Oh, I think about this all the time. I've added it up multiple
Oh, I
times.
can't wait to hear your answer. Okay, on a low end, go tell me your hours, low end to high.
Well, what I was doing, because I'm really consistent, what I was doing was like 10 hours a week, but this last week was closer to 15, I would say. And I could see it going like to 20, 25. Like, it's a fucking part-time job. It is.
No, it is. So I just did the math yesterday too, and I'm like, and I'm like, holy crap. So right now, without us even being in the training, I do sit around, and this is me like guessing on the low end, but when I'm not really doing anything and I'm just farting around, it's about 15 hours a week. But like when I'm in it, it's about 22.
Yeah, love it.
And she just looked at me and I go, "For why are you asking me that?" And she goes, "Well, I wanted to know what it took to look like you." And I'm like, "There is something to be said for that." I go, "But you're different than me." I
And
also work at a gym.
yeah, yeah. And you have to put in a few hours a week for sure to look the way you want to look, but you can look a certain way. We train also for performance. That's
Yeah.
another level of like you have to continue to push, push, push. You can work out, I'd say like 4 to 5 hours a week and look pretty damn good.
Oh,
If your
absolutely.
diet, you like that's the kind of people that don't necessarily get to eat as much as we do, which is good also because you can save some fucking money. Because that's what I'm worried about right now. I'm like, oh my
Food,
God, I'm gonna have to pay for like twice as much food.
it's already a problem. And, oh, so back to the other thing I was talking about. So the lady that I was working out with last night, she's done bodybuilding and she's done it for quite some time, but she actually didn't get into it until like her 30s.
Mm.
And she's won. And so yesterday I was talking to her because I did a lot yesterday with like deadlifts and um I just did a lot of lower body stuff yesterday, and then she wanted to hit lower body, and I'm like, "Fuck, I don't I don't want to hit that again because I'm afraid of overtraining." And she looked at me and she was like, "I'm gonna tell you a secret." And I'm like, "Give me all of them because I know you know what you're doing." And she goes, "Most people don't ever get to a threshold where they're actually overtraining." And she goes, "If you also feel that way," she goes, "the answer and the key to that is just eat more."
Yeah, yeah. I listened to a whole podcast, I think, series about that kind of where it's like overtraining is reserved for the David Goggins of the world that are doing crazy shit. Most of the people who think they're overtraining are under recovering.
Right.
Yeah, that's what the whole series was about is under recovering, not overtraining. And so that what
Do you recall who that was by? Because I think I've listened to that podcast.
I think it was probably I'm thinking it was a part of the Andrew Huberman Andy Galpin collaboration. Um, but the
I
only
think I've heard that one.
It's so good. It's a 6-part series, and I referred it to my friend Christina, and she like when she finished it, she posted it. She tagged me, she tagged Huberman, she tagged Andy Galpin, and said like, "Thanks, Lindsay, for recommending this. Like, I feel like I deserve or after 19 hours, I feel like I deserve a certification." And Andy Galpin actually like reposted her, which was so cool.
No way.
And so, which yeah, and I'm just like literally like I don't know. One time a friend told me, she's like, you can't just like listen to podcasts and think you like know that stuff. And I'm like, girl, trust me, the podcasts that I'm listening to are straight up scientists telling me their research for free, for free, for free. I have notes. I take notes. I take notes about the stuff. I like look into it. I research it. I test it on my own self. Like it's free college, like literally, in my opinion.
No, yeah, that's a really dense comment to make. Like, no offense to that person, but
I was like, girl,
sorry.
we're just not listening to the same podcast then, is
Yeah,
that's what
apparently,
I'm
like,
hearing.
and even like Andrew Huberman has gotten into so much, like, he's gotten so strict about like what he says and what comes out of his mouth because people have like called him out, and you're like, he's a fucking scientist. Are you a scientist?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're all scientists, but do you get paid to be one?
Like,
Okay. No,
you have a
he
lab?
does.
Like, I don't understand. But yeah, how did we get here? The non-exercise things that are going
Oh,
to happen. So we were specifically talking nutrition and how we're gonna have to eat more for this shit.
yeah. So on my end of it, I'm thinking about diving into keeping track of it. Um, but after she said that to me, and I was like, okay, cool. I'll just eat more.
Literally.
And like for anybody who's like following me on Instagram, I posted what I ate this morning. Like that was just for breakfast. And I've got food in the truck. I've got food at work. I've got food in every building it is that I walk into because I can't afford to not have it. And so I think it's just like you said, it's going to be food. And the other component to that is for me, because it does affect when you're training for something on purpose for this amount of time, rest is so lucrative and like it's imperative. It demands it. And so I struggle with that. And so that'll be like a non like literally it's non-movement. Not really literally, but I have to know and calculate and listen to my body so clearly when I'm doing something like this. And another part of it that goes into it that's like non-movement is really, really, really abiding by and honoring my cycle
Mm,
because the different phases for women, for anybody who doesn't know, and for women who don't know this, you should not train like a man because it's not the same. And when you're in different phases of your cycle, you need to be treating your body as such.
yeah.
Uh, it really, really, really does kind of. I can't say whether or not I know for sure, and maybe there's some science behind it. I've just not looked into it, but it really affects and kind of make or breaks whether or not you're going to perform the way that you want to perform because if you're working against the current that your body is in, it's I don't know. I just have found that when I honor the cycle, my workouts are money.
Yeah. For me, it like isn't just for other people listening, like I always take that with a little grain of salt. I think it's an amazing nugget because people do need to pay attention.
What?
Like kind of cycle syncing your workouts.
Oh, yeah.
I think it can look different for everyone though, which is interesting to me. Like,
Oh, that's what I mean. You follow your own side. Like I
yeah,
know.
no, yeah, yeah. But and because like for me, like it can be different parts of honestly, for me, it just comes down to listening to my body because I think even with my cycle, like I can be on my period absolutely slaying PRs, but sometimes I can't, you know? And for me, I think it's
Okay.
a bigger picture because I've tried to track it and I'm like, okay, like is it always the a couple days before my period and it just like isn't. Sometimes I'm ovulating and I'm like, I hate everything right now. So it's not for me, it's just not as important directly tied to my cycle, but I've also made peace with that. My cycle's like just like not as like cyclical as everyone else's maybe. So
Yeah. I can see what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. I'm trying to figure out how to ask the question it is I want to ask you to kind of turn it upside down on itself because I like what you had said about like you're slaying PRs and certain like when you're in the middle of your cycle, right? Um, but have you ever adhered to like foundationally what is set like for each like the follicular phase and all those phases? Like have you tried to apply what the movements because like certain phases you're supposed to be kinder to your body and softer on your body. While I'll agree with you, and I've also experienced the same thing, like I can still PR when I'm in the, let's say, most vulnerable part of my cycle. But I noticed a huge shift when I honored that part of the cycle and would like back off. And then I would apply it during parts of the cycle where I know I'm super strong. Because I've heard that. I think it's like really like some people, like it was weird for me to hear you say that you hate everything when you're ovulating because I'm the total opposite.
But it's not the same every time. Like for me, there's just so many other factors that come into play. Am I well rested? Am I like
Oh,
hungry?
definitely.
Have I had enough water? Like there's so many things at play that if I show up to a workout and I'm like, okay, it's this time of my cycle, I'm not gonna try to hit PRs. Then what happens next week when I actually can't because I'm physically just down, So then I'm gone 2 weeks not hitting my threshold or my PRs. And then
Yeah, but
third
then
week,
you're catastrophizing something that's not going to happen.
it's been working so far for me. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I mean, I'm hearing you say that you're like, if you were to switch it up.
But yeah, I guess I just like you may be right. But the approach that I take, I guess, is just a little different because like there's just so many other factors other than hormones. You know what I mean? And like I could totally try it, but I just instead like choose to listen to my body in that
You
moment.
know you best, and really that's all I'm saying anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I'm like super interested in it. I think maybe if I ever come to a time where I'm like, what the fuck? Like I can't get past this, like maybe I would apply that strategy, right? But in my life today, it just hasn't felt necessary because I keep progressing really well,
Totally.
you know?
Totally. I love that you made that point too, because the only reason I started looking at my cycle was because I wanted to win. And there
Yeah.
were certain things I wasn't getting over, and where I was just like, I'm doing everything right. So what else could there be?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so that's actually a really, really, a really, really good point. And you may be right. I love that you brought that up. And um, here's a perfect example of what we just talked about in the last episode. Like, she and I just spent the last 3 to 5 minutes saying the same thing,
Yeah.
but using like different words, right? How
Yeah.
cool.
It's just funny to me because the cycle syncing thing has gotten crazy. Like people are like, and that's wonderful. There's people out there that will help you cycle sync your life. Okay. And I think that's really fucking cool. But like also you like don't have to do that. You
It's
know?
exercise is the only part of my life I apply it to.
Yeah, yeah. I apply it more to my like business and social life for sure. I think
How?
social battery, my mental state is affected way more personally by my cycle than my physical body is. My hormones mess with this a lot more than they mess with the body in my human experience. So like in business, like I might not book so many calls the week before my period. I'd rather not be talking to people.
Sure.
I'd rather hermit, like, and that's also my human design, and I think it's tied to my cycle. Like 2 weeks of the month, I'm just like, and then the other 2 weeks, I'm like, everybody, like, let's hang out, let's get on calls, let's like blah 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 blah. I'm more like charismatic, and so that's a way bigger piece of it. Because, and I just experience my cycle, like this could become a whole different conversation, but I just experience it more with like mood swings and that sort of thing rather than like physical like cramps or like fatigue. I don't usually like experience the physical symptoms. So I think that's interesting. I think that's, yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I think what you're saying about like mentally, I experience that too. And I think that affects me much more as well.
Uh,
Um, but I think uh, my favorite part of figuring out my cycle for my workouts was like recognizing, we've got like, if we're lucky, we get 4 days a month that we're ovulating. And that's usually when we're glowing. According to science, that's when we're our strongest. It's when we're feeling our best. So, like, when I did my Spartan race, the weekend of the race was right in the smack dab in the middle of my ovulation. And I'm like, yes, like I get to be in like the strongest part of it. And so now it's like, it's those 4 days I really cherish out of the month because those are the days when I know up here is good because I'm feeling good, and I will on purposely make everything. I already make everything really hard, but those 4 days, it's 4 times as hard as it would be normally because I know I can take it on. So I guess I use like some of those days to like stack that threshold packing, and I could be kinder to myself if I don't meet it. I can push myself further because I know that I'm in the headspace to do it. I'm probably eating more. I'm probably getting it all in. So it's a cool, excuse me, experiment to have and
Yeah.
kind of extract a little bit more information from your body. Like, oh, okay, I don't know, because I always forget when I'm about to cycle because I'm a psychopath.
I like I like the turn of like using it to push yourself. Like using yeah, like using science those 4 days that you should be your strongest. Like if you feel that way, right? Like to go into that workout and push even harder. I like that rather than the plan for this entire week to take it easy. Like that's hard for me to adapt to, but I like looking at it from the other side. Same thing, other side kind of
And
deal.
what you just said too, like planning it to make sure that, taking it easy or whatever. For me, on a personal level, I need that reminder like,
Uh,
hey, you've been hammering the
mm,
fuck out of your body all month. So you're already not going to be up here about it. You're just going to get pissed off at yourself about it. So get take all the things you're not good at because you're already going to be slower at it and just mess around with those things. Or, there's something within mobility I haven't hit, or something, or
yeah,
just plain taking it easy. Sit
yeah.
in the sauna, do something soft. So for me, they're just like little checkpoints and data points for me. And I think because I get so stuck up here, when I see it on the calendar, I'm like, oh, right. I'm going to start feeling like a maniac. And so that'll just be a reminder for me to be tender and to slow down with myself. But also, back to circle back to the beginning of the episode when you said, you asked me the questions about what the challenges were going to be for me, and that just goes right back into the challenge of me making sure that I rest so that I may recover. And I love that you touched on that too. Like, people think that they overtrain, but actually they're just under recovering. I'm one of those people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for you and for Drew, those are like you guys are both like just driven so hard, and that's just something I will recover. I will definitely be recovering, and I guess I don't have that mental battle when it comes to I don't know. My body just won't. And then I'll be like, "Okay, cool. Cool
Well,
girl."
my mind needs it to metabolize things. So, and it used to be I would use alcohol to metabolize things and get my mind off of it. So now it's like I step onto the floor, especially when I got HYROX on my shoulder and I know that's what I'm about to do. I use all the turmoil in my life as fuel now.
Mm,
And I'm running out of it. I'm running out of, which is a good problem to have, but it's, again, to kind of touch on, if you guys haven't heard our last episode, um what was the title of it? Connecting spiritually,
mm,
or something like that. I just sent it to somebody today, but we talk kind of about this, and these workouts, especially with intention behind them, are a spiritual experience for me. Like, for me to have gone through and like dedicated basically my entire day off to getting through all of those movements. I mean, there were a lot of moments where I'm on the air runner and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. And I've got two movements left. I got one more 1,000 meters to run with the 100 wall balls after. And I'm like, the competition is 6 months away. I don't have to do this.
mm.
I don't have to finish this. But then I'm like, I'm also not going to be a little pansy about it and not finish two different movements. But that also, that drive that you're talking about, that you see that Drew and I have, and that we struggle. Well, I can't speak for her. That I struggle for resting with. That's an asset on the floor when I'm actually
Oh,
competing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I've thought too. I'm like, I'm gonna keep you guys like down a little bit while we're training, and then you guys on the floor are gonna be what keeps me going. Because I have it in me, but
Of course, yeah.
I know you guys have it way more. Like for me, it's like, okay, it's only gonna be maximum an hour and 25 minutes. For me, if I know the end goal, I'm fine. I'm
Yes.
gonna push through, but I feel like you guys will give me that little extra, like, you're not fucking tired.
You're right, right, right. You're not, because you're not.
Yeah.
And I think there was a podcast that I listened to and it talked about not overtraining but under recovering, and then also within that, I think not a lot of people have experienced actual muscle failure,
Ooh, yeah.
right? Have you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so you got a lot of people think that they have, and they'll talk about it, and then you think if, and even if you haven't experienced it, you think you know what it feels like until you actually feel it and you're in the middle of a workout. And you might even be for me, the first time I ever experienced it, I was like three-quarters of the way through this workout, and like my legs stopped working. Like I had to stop and let like time pass so that my muscles would have just that little bit to like keep moving. Like I love training to the point of like muscle failure, but that's also not the same as um overtraining,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess
right?
never experienced muscle failure in an endurance way at all, but
Okay.
I've like trained till failure with weights, like truly, like not
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's
literally
the
not.
same
Yeah.
kind of.
I feel like it feels different with endurance stuff though.
Yeah, endurance, it's like, oh, well,
It's like
my
your legs
brain
fell
just
off.
said, yeah, my brain just said that my feet were being picked up from the ground. They didn't.
Mm-mm.
And then you like fall because you're like, no, but I did pick my feet up. And you're like, I wouldn't have fallen if that were the case. And so that'll be like, I hope that that happens for you at least once through the training of this before the actual day.
Yeah.
Because if you can get to the point where you're training to the point of like muscle failure, then that means you're going to know your body so much better in the competition because you're going to know how much further you can actually push yourself because you're like, wait a minute, I'm still standing.
Yeah.
So again, to double down on it, you're not fucking tired, bro. So
Yeah.
keep moving.
I love it. Thank you guys so much for listening. And to find more from us, you can find us on Instagram at prettyperspective_podcast and also on YouTube.
Before we get ready to sign off here, remember that you are the light and you bring the glow, and we are a pretty perspective where we bring the light to hard shit.